Voici le petit train qui part. Voici le petit train parti.
The Vivarais metric gauge railway was one of the most beautiful in France, until November 1968, when it was suddenly decided to close it. But a group of courageous amateurs from Lyon rose to the challenge of saving the railway from destruction. And in 1970, the first rail traffic resumed on the line between Tournon and Lamastre. Today, one can travel just as one did at the beginning of the last century, in the old wooden cars, drawn by a superb steam mallet.
Un gros tunnel tout noir.
Leaving from the Rhône Valley at Tournon at one end, and at the other from La Voulte, two lines climbed to the high plateaus of the Ardèche by a bold and wild route that no road could ever attempt, to meet at Le Chemin, with a further extension as far as Dunières. This railway first opened in 1886 and was completed in 1905 by the superb climb from Le Chemin to Saint-Argrève that runs for 9 kilometers alongside the Eyrieux Valley. It has a total of 203 kilometers of track. The residents of Vivarais were quick to name it the Mastrou, after the village of Lamastre that lies at the heart of its run. The number and the technical quality of its locomotives places this railway at the head of France's secondary networks, with its articulated 040 plus 040T or 240 plus 040T type Malais, built by the Mechanical Construction Company of Alsace, or the SACM, in 1891. Or its even more remarkable articulated 060 plus 060T type Malais, a series of 14 very powerful engines built from 1902 by the Swiss firm SLM and later from 1927 on by the SACM. The Malais locomotive was the invention of a French engineer of Swiss origin called Anatole Malais. It was made up of 2 trucks, each with 2 or 3 driving axles, the first of them articulated and capable of both lateral movement and pivoting, the second straight onto the locomotive. In addition, it had, of necessity, 4 cylinders instead of 2, since each train could drive, and this made the locomotive very flexible, but also very powerful, as a result of having twice the cylinders, getting the very best out of the steam expansion. In this respect, the Malais utilizes the very same principle as that of compounding. The mountain railways often used this kind of locomotive, especially on straight tracks. It could easily negotiate low radius curves, and this made the building of mountain railways more economical. On the small metric gauge railways of France, it could pull trains of 100 tons or more up 1 in 33 inclines, by far outperforming all the great locomotives of the day. Several French networks adopted them, notably the Vivarais Railway. Good test results were obtained with number 401, and the series was completed by the 7 other engines of the same type that were completed in 1905. The cylinders were 310 by 550 millimeters, high pressure, and 480 by 550 millimeters, low pressure. Steam pressure was 14 kilograms per centimeter, and the total weight of the locomotive was 44.3 tons. On a 30% incline, they could haul 90 tons at 30 kilometers an hour, 125 tons at 24 kilometers an hour, or 160 tons at 13 kilometers an hour. They remained in service on the line until it closed, and number 403 and number 404 are still running today on the tourist railway. The advent, just before and after the last war, of Vivarais railcars changed the whole face of the railways, yet it never entirely wiped out steam power, especially in wintertime when the heavy locomotives with their snowplows are the only ones that can get through drifts on the high plateaus of the Ardèche. In October 1963, just before the network closed down, there arrived a BB-type 414 horsepower diesel locomotive made in the workshops of the Vivarais Company. This modern engine replaced several steam locomotives, reducing their contribution to just two still active 060 plus 060Ts, number 403 and number 404. The rolling stock they pull consists of comfortable bogie coaches, luggage vans, as well as a large stock of goods wagons. It is all treated with great care and in the spirit of normal gauge. Today, trains run on a 33-kilometer section of the preserved line from Tournon to Lamastre, the most spectacular stretch of the old network. There are 9 steam locomotives, 5 diesel locomotives, and shunters of diverse provenance, and 5 diesel rail cars. All this stock is highly characteristic of the old French metric gauge railways, and of them, the diesel Vivarais rail cars are without doubt the most picturesque. The service runs every day, from mid-May to the end of August, as well as every Saturday and Sunday through September, and every Sunday through October.